headed out and about right now. I'm going to go meet my wife for lunch. And then I'm getting ready for my trip coming up tomorrow. I leave tomorrow, riding up to Kansas, spending some time with my parents, and then I'm going to be riding up to Nebraska, Ohio, and Missouri. So I've never hit those states on a motorcycle before, those three anyway. So it's going to be pretty exciting for me. Of course, I'll be getting video of all of it. So it's just a quick update. And then I also had some long-distance motorcycling trips, or excuse me, long-distance motorcycling tips. I had some tips on speaking. That'll help. Okay, so first tip, you know, obviously to get rested. I worked yesterday. My plan was to leave today, and I was exhausted. I mean, after a long week of work, I just said, you know what, I'm going to take one day off, recuperate, get myself ready, and then I'm going to head on out early in the morning. Which brings me to my second tip. Leave early. I live here in deer country, the hill country of Texas. I mean, there's deer everywhere. There's no such thing as a deer crossing. It is the heart of deer country. So you gotta be really, really careful. But leave early. You know, the sun is just as dangerous as obstacles on the roadway, and it can be. So I like to leave early. I'm going to be getting up at about 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be ready to go already, and I'm going to head on out. I mean, it's as simple as that. I'm just going to shoot on out, and so yeah, I'm not going to have anything to do. I'm just going to hop on a bike and roll out, which brings me to tip number 3. Fuel up the night before. I know that I have to fuel up, and I'm going to have to make several fuel stops on a 600-mile ride, but I like to fuel up the night before. It's one less thing for me to worry about when I start. While I'm on the road, hydrate. Stay hydrated. You want to stay hydrated. You want to keep water in your body. I use a Camelback. I strap it to the back bag that I use, and I'm able to just put the straw inside the helmet, take drinks and drink as I need to, and I drink often. And the thing is, you're going to be sweating so much, especially in this heat, you're not going to have to stop to take a leak very often. You know, a quick break whenever you go to the bathroom, or when you got to go get fuel, you run in to go to the bathroom real quick, just long enough to stretch the legs. That's plenty for me. It's always worked very well. If I ever really have to, I guess I'll just stop on the side of the road and go behind a tree. And I've done that before too. Which brings me to my 5th tip. And this one's really important. And this is the one that I see a lot of people, especially in the Harley-Davidson community, they neglect. I don't understand why. One, I mean, it's just common sense. Wear protective gear. And by protective gear, I don't mean just your helmet and your boots. You know, cover all of your skin. Okay, I wear a full face helmet all the time, and it protects my head and my face, which is great. My neck is currently exposed right now on a long trip. I'll zip this up, and I'll have something that covers my neck. I've got different kinds of gloves. With these gloves here, leave an opening. So what I can do is one of two things. Either I switch out to my gauntlet style gloves that cover the cuff of my cuff of my jacket. They keep the wind off of my arms. Or I can put on socks. And for the cooler weather, what I'll typically do is just throw on socks that I had cut off, and I basically have evaporative cooling. It blocks my skin from the sun, allows some wind to get in with the water on them. When I say cooler temperatures, I'm talking about, 80, 90 degrees. When it starts to get into the 100s, you want to block everything off. You want to keep as much of that wind off of your body as possible. That means zipping up everything, closing up your vents, trap as much in as you can. Now, it sounds counterintuitive, but the simple reason is that the wind will dry you out. You lose a lot of your moisture through your skin. So if you protect your skin, you shield your skin from that wind, it'll keep you from drying out. And last but not least, and I don't know why, but this actually makes a huge difference, with or without, makes a huge difference. Earplugs. I wear earplugs on long rides, even inside the helmet, for the simple fact that the sound, the droning sound of the pipes, of the wind, the engine, everything, just that droning sound for hours on end becomes mentally exhausting. And it's amazing how different I feel after doing a few hundred miles with earplugs and doing it without. So much more comfortable doing it with the earplugs. To avoid your ears getting sore from wearing the earplugs, I tend to wear just the regular cheap disposable foam earplugs. And you can cut them down, or you just don't stick them in your ear nearly as far. It doesn't create as much pressure. And it works really well. So those are just some simple tips for long distance riding. When I say long distance riding, I'm talking about anything over 400 miles. You know, 300 miles, yeah, it's still long distance. It's definitely a chore, but it's not nearly as bad. You know, when you get into that 400-mile range, suddenly it becomes extremely painful. It's no longer a fun experience. It's why did I do this kind of experience. And those tips, those basic tips, work well on sport bikes, Harleys, I mean any kind of motorcycle that you've got. If you're able to take it that far, those tips work. There's a nice little shady spot. This is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to go have some lunch, enjoy the day. We will meet up later.